Hello fellow travelers, we've got a really good episode for you today.
Back by popular demand, we are making another video that's going to break down our travel expenses for our Vanuatu trip. If you haven't watched the videos, be sure to watch them. I will put the link down below. Some of our favorite footage that we have ever shot, and it's good.
We had a really good trip, but it was kind of expensive, and we're going to break down the cost of everything and let you know where you might want to change things up to make it a little bit cheaper.
All right, without further ado, let's get started. We are going to start with flights. Our flight from Auckland to Efate was 2,221 New Zealand dollars, and that breaks down into 444 New Zealand dollars per ticket. We were happy with the price that we paid for our plane tickets to get into Vanuatu. You fly into the island of Efate. We're coming from Auckland, New Zealand, and so it's a little bit more inexpensive to get there from that country. Once you fly into Efate, you can stay on that island, and that is one big, huge cost savings that you can do. We decided that we had to go to another island. There's so many different ones you can choose from, each of them offering something different. We chose the island of Tanna because of the volcano and because of the cultural experiences that you can have there. And this is where our trip got really expensive. We had to buy another plane ticket to the island of Tanna, and it was not cheap. And it cost us 1,389 New Zealand dollars. And this ends up being 278 New Zealand dollars per ticket.
Yeah, when I saw the price of flying to the other island, I was thinking it might not be a good idea, but I'm really glad we did because it was the highlight of our trip.
For me, I have always dreamed about having a really amazing cultural experience for my children, and this is hands down the best experience that we could have ever asked for. And Hobie at the time was really into volcanoes, and we thought it would be really special for us to take his learning to the next level and let him see a real active volcano.
If you really want to save money and go to some of the other islands to get that cultural experience, you could always take a boat. Now, when you take a boat, you're going to save a lot of money, but you're going to lose a lot of time and a lot of flexibility. So the boats only travel certain days, and it might take you a full day to get there, and it might not be super reliable on when it comes back. But if you're flexible with your schedule, I'd go with the boat and save some money.
All right, next up we're going to talk about accommodation.
Okay, so for accommodations, we stayed at two different locations. When we were on the island of Efate, we stayed at the Warwick, which was a really nice place. We don't normally stay at resorts like this, but it was our 10-year anniversary, so we wanted to do something special. It was really nice. They had everything we needed, and they had a kayak that you could take out, and they had the catamaran, which made me really excited, and that's why I chose that place.
Some downsides to staying at the resort was there was no free Wi-Fi, and it was pretty expensive if you wanted to pay for it. And some of the other hotels that we were looking at on the island of Efate were cheaper, and they offered free Wi-Fi. So the nicer your resort, the more you have to pay for things. And the food was a bit more expensive there than had we gone out into town. It ended up working out okay because the kids ate free. There was a special deal going on. So the meals weren't too terribly expensive, but a little bit more than we would have liked to pay for. It was also really nice because they had some night shows. They had a really nice fire show, and then they had like a cultural luau type show, and that was really nice. Once we got over to the island of Tanna, you have a few different options. You can stay at a resort, or you can stay in some homestays. And we decided that we would stay in a homestay. And this was a bit of a debate because not only are you flying to a distant island, you're also traveling to the other side of that island, and we were very concerned about the health and safety of our children. In the long run, we decided we were going to take a leap of faith and just be as careful as we could, and we went with a homestay. And we also had to really think hard about if it was cost effective. Because in the island of Tanna, you cannot rent a car or drive a car. And there are no taxis. You have to hire a local driver to get you places. And so when we contacted a few different homestays, we had to be very clear on where we wanted to go and how much it would cost and how much it would cost for each of us. We didn't want to be surprised that the cost that they gave us was just for one person and not for a family of 5. So we did a lot of communication back and forth to make it clear on what the costs are. And in the end, looking at the resort costs on Tanna versus the homestay costs, even though you're paying a lot for the transportation, it ended up being cheaper for us to stay in a homestay and pay for all the transportation around the island. So our homestay cost us about 40 New Zealand dollars a night, and that included a breakfast, and the accommodation was nice, but it was kind of like camping, with a bed on a mattress. So it's a little nicer, but a little rustic. But it was so neat. The cabins were amazing, and we were in the village. We had no other travelers around us. It was just us, and our kids got to play with the local kids, and we just felt like we were completely immersed in the culture.
Yeah, we got to walk around and tour the village, meet the kids, go to the schools, play frisbee and soccer with the other kids. And some of the villagers even invited us into their homes to show us around. It was amazing.
It was the most authentic cultural experience we could have asked for. And it was so neat for our kids to be able to view another way of living and how people are so different but yet so similar.
Yeah. It was also real close to the volcano. You could hear the volcano at night. You could see the orange glow of it at night. It was pretty exciting.
We picked this particular homestay because it had pretty good reviews, and it was also close to a beach that we could walk to. When you are at these homestays, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot to do. There's no stores. There's nowhere you can really go unless you pay for a driver to take you somewhere. How do you find a homestay in Tanna? What we did is, believe it or not, we found it on Airbnb. And there's quite a few on there. And another way you can find them is you can go on the Tanna website, and it lists out some of the homestays on there as well. We will put in the description below links to the Airbnb listings and where we stayed and the Tanna website.
Next up is transportation costs. We spent $792 on transportation. So a lot of that was on the island of Tanna, where we spent $426 to get around the island. So that is getting to our homestay and back, getting to the volcano, and getting to the custom village. So when you want to go somewhere in Tanna, you have to hire a driver who has a 4x4 truck because the roads are a little rough and it takes a long time to get places. So when you hire a driver to go to the volcano, it takes you a long time to get there, and then the driver waits while you're at the volcano and then drives you home at night. So it's pretty expensive.
Our homestay is the one who was able to coordinate all of the transportation for us. It wasn't something that we had to worry about, but we did up front talk about the transportation cost to each place, and we were very clear on if it included one way or if it included a round trip and if it included all 5 of us.
Yeah, so we knew it would be expensive going in, but we knew that we'd save a lot on the accommodations there, so kind of the trade-off was there. We also paid to rent a car on Efate, so we did 3 days. It was $77 a day for the rental, and we paid $46 in petrol.
Next up, we're going to talk about food. We spent a total of 503 New Zealand dollars for food. We found food to be a little expensive in Vanuatu. When we were at the resort, we spent between 50 to 60 New Zealand dollars for a meal. And the resort did include breakfast, and in Tanna, our accommodation did include breakfast as well, which was nice. In Tanna, it wasn't too bad for the food, still just a little pricey. We spent 33 New Zealand dollars for lunch for the 5 of us, and then for dinners it was around 41 New Zealand dollars for the 5 of us each dinner. The food at the Warwick was really good for the kids. They all found something that they can eat and they were very happy.
Yeah, it was all you can eat buffet, so it was really good food.
In Tanna, the food was good. Chris and I liked the food. The kids could kind of find food that they liked, but they weren't too keen on it. We did buy a bunch of snacks as soon as we arrived in Tanna. We had the driver stop at a store and we bought snacks, and so they kind of survived off of snacks and then what they could eat of the meals, and it was fine.
It was good. It was good food.
Yeah, we liked it.
For activities, we paid $607. Most of that was the volcano, which turned out to be $367 for the family to go. And that was for our family, where our youngest 2 kids were free.
One of the other activities that we paid for was the Yakel Village. This is a custom village in Tanna, and it was so neat. Believe it or not, there is a movie made about this village, and Chris and I watched it before we went, and we're so excited. And we thought it was going to be touristy. We thought there's going to be other travelers there, and we show up, and it's just us. So we get this private tour of the village, and they do a dance with us, and their kids were so into our kids, and our kids were just, so mesmerized by how different these people live. And another one of my favorite memories from this trip. And they asked for a donation, and we ended up giving more than what they asked for, just because we just loved the experience, and they were really great, kind, and friendly people.
Back on Efate, we went to the Blue Lagoon, we went to a turtle sanctuary, and we went to a waterfall, and we went snorkeling on Hideaway Island.
I thought that Hideaway Island was a pretty good value and Blue Lagoon was a good value. Blue Lagoon was only 21 New Zealand dollars for the 5 of us, and Hideaway Island was only $41 for the 5 of us, and that included a boat ride over to the island. The waterfall was really expensive and it was nice, but that is a great way to cut costs, because it ended up being 66 New Zealand dollars for us just to see a waterfall. So pretty pricey. And then the turtle sanctuary was a little expensive as well. We paid 48 New Zealand dollars for that, but it was really a fun experience, especially for Henry, because he is really into turtles and loves iguanas, and they had a lot of fun. Next up, we are going to talk about souvenirs. We spent 87 New Zealand dollars on souvenirs. This includes some of our toiletries because our luggage got left in Tanna, but we purchased a grass skirt, a flute, and a fish in the Yakel Village in Tanna. We purchased 2 necklaces, a little pouch, a magnet, a boat, and a dress for Hallie, and then some toiletries like toothbrushes and hair ties and goggles.
Our last category is the miscellaneous fees. We paid $151 on miscellaneous fees. So these are ATM fees, departure fees, and our drone flying over the volcano fee, which was 133 New Zealand dollars.
But it was worth it. Chris got to live out his dream, roasting a marshmallow over a volcano. We told a little bit of this story in our volcano video, and right now Chris is working on the complete story of our marshmallow roasting experience. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming up soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a good video. You're not going to want to miss it.
What does that bring our grand total to, not including flights?
Our grand total is 3,669 New Zealand dollars.
And if you put flights in with that cost, it puts us at 7,267 New Zealand dollars for our Vanuatu trip.
Yeah, I think this is the most expensive trip we've ever taken, but it was fun.
Okay, Chris, any other tips for saving money in Vanuatu?
Yeah, I think not going to another island will save you a lot of money. And if you do go to another island, take a boat and you'll save a lot of money. The other thing is Don't go for a high-end resort. Go for more of a budget resort. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Please subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications when we upload our next video. We have some really, really good stuff coming up very soon. I think we're going to be going into some of our best footage. Comment down below where you think we will be next.
Goodbye, everybody.
Happy travels!